The truth is finally cracking open. And tonight, we're diving straight into the revelations that nobody expected. 4 more suspects have just been arrested in connection with the sudden and heartbreaking passing of Yu Menglong. And the details emerging from this new twist are enough to send shivers down anyone's spine. If you've been following this case, you already know how bizarre and chilling it has been. But what's coming now takes it to an entirely different level. By the end of this video, you will have goosebumps, because we're going to uncover the shocking moments from the arrests, the hidden connections between the suspects, and the dark web of lies and secrets that could explain what really happened to Yu Menglong. Stick around, because every single scene we're about to reveal will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about this mystery. The news broke like an explosion across Chinese and international media. 4 individuals, all linked in surprising ways, were taken into custody after a coordinated midnight operation by authorities. Eyewitnesses described the scenes of the arrests as something out of a movie. Dark alley chases, unmarked vans, and officers whispering codes into their radios as they closed in on their targets. It was a spectacle that left entire neighborhoods awake, staring out their windows, recording shaky footage on their phones, and posting cryptic updates online. But here's the shocking part. These suspects weren't just random names. Each of them had been in Yu Menglong's orbit at some point, and their arrests are painting a chilling picture of betrayal, greed, and secrets buried too deep to stay hidden. The first suspect was caught just outside a luxury apartment complex in Shanghai. Residents reported hearing raised voices, followed by the sudden sound of a door being kicked in. Within moments, officers dragged out a man in his mid-30s, his face partially hidden under a hoodie. Witnesses described him as shaking violently, muttering under his breath, as though he knew the walls were closing in on him. Later leaks suggested he had been on the phone with someone moments before the arrest, desperately warning them, it's over. That call has now become a central piece of evidence, sparking speculation about who was on the other end of the line and whether more arrests are still coming. The second arrest took place in a scene so dramatic it almost sounds unreal. According to reports, officers followed a woman to a small, dimly lit tea house on the outskirts of the city. She sat quietly, stirring her cup as though waiting for someone. But before that mysterious meeting could happen, plainclothes detectives stormed in. Witnesses said the woman didn't resist. In fact, she smiled faintly, as though she had been expecting them all along. The most chilling detail: a handwritten letter was found inside her handbag, sealed with wax, addressed to someone whose identity has not yet been revealed. Authorities haven't disclosed the contents, but insiders claim the note contained not only confessions but also names, powerful names. Could this letter be the thread that unravels the entire case? Meanwhile, the third arrest unfolded in chaos. This suspect, a younger man reportedly connected to an underground nightlife scene, tried to flee through the crowded back streets of Beijing. Sirens blared, people screamed, and for a few moments, it felt like the entire city was holding its breath. Witnesses say he darted between food stalls and parked scooters, his footsteps pounding against the pavement, until an officer tackled him to the ground. What makes this arrest unforgettable is that onlookers heard him shout something chilling. "You don't understand. It wasn't supposed to happen this way." Those words have now gone viral, sparking endless theories online about whether Yu Menglong's death was a planned event gone horribly wrong. The final arrest was perhaps the most mysterious. In the dead of night, a convoy of unmarked cars pulled up to a gated property rumored to belong to someone influential. Neighbors described seeing shadows moving behind tall windows, followed by lights suddenly flicking off, as though someone inside was trying to hide. Minutes later, a figure was escorted out in handcuffs, head bowed, surrounded by stern-faced officers. Unlike the others, this suspect has deep ties to both the entertainment industry and business circles, leading many to believe this is where the true heart of the conspiracy lies. For the first time, people are asking if Yu Menglong's passing was not just a personal tragedy, but the result of a calculated plot involving people with far more power than anyone dared imagine. And as these 4 suspects were dragged into custody, whispers began to spread. How were they connected to each other? What secret bound them together? And most importantly, what did they know about Yu Menglong's final hours? Sources close to the investigation claim that all four were being monitored for weeks before the arrests, their movements carefully tracked, their calls intercepted. One chilling revelation is that they reportedly met on multiple occasions in hidden locations: an abandoned warehouse, a deserted rooftop, and even a quiet riverside spot under the cover of night. Each meeting was short, tense, and shrouded in secrecy, as if they knew the walls were closing in. But the most mind-blowing scene so far came when police revealed what they discovered during searches of the suspects' properties. Hidden compartments in walls, stacks of sealed envelopes, coded notes scribbled on scraps of paper, and even a broken phone buried in a flower pot, all pointing to something bigger than anyone imagined. And here's where it gets even stranger. Among these findings were references to dates, times, and a name written over and over again: Yu Menglong. It's as if his life, and perhaps even his death, had been mapped out like a script. Fans of Yu Menglong, devastated and furious, have flooded social media with theories. Was he betrayed by people he trusted? Was this all part of a twisted game? Or could there be an even darker force behind the suspects, pulling the strings from the shadows? Videos of the arrests are circulating online, with millions of views showing ordinary people gasping, screaming, or crying as suspects were escorted away. In every frame, the weight of this tragedy hangs heavy, but so does the hunger for answers. Imagine the scene now. Investigators poring over stacks of evidence late into the night, suspects sitting in cold interrogation rooms with sweat dripping down their foreheads, refusing to meet anyone's eyes. Every word they say, or refuse to say, pulls us deeper into this labyrinth of secrets. And the haunting question remains: how many more people are involved? Because if 4 suspects have been arrested tonight, who knows how many more are still out there, hiding in plain sight, waiting for their turn under the spotlight. This case is no longer just about justice for Yu Menglong. It's about unmasking a network of deception that has stretched far wider than anyone predicted. The arrests have cracked open the door, but what lies behind it might be even darker than we can bear to imagine. Will the truth finally bring peace, or will it unleash a storm that none of us are ready for? As this story unfolds, one thing is certain: the world is watching. And every new revelation feels like a countdown to the moment when everything will finally be revealed. The suspects' arrests are not the end. They are only the beginning of a saga that is far from over. So what do you think? Were these 4 suspects the masterminds behind Yu Menglong's tragic fate? Or are they just pawns in a much bigger game? Could the shocking evidence found at their homes be the key to solving the mystery once and for all? Or does it raise even more questions than it answers? The night the arrests went down will forever be remembered as one of the most dramatic twists in the entire Yu Menglong case. Streets were alive with flashing lights, the air buzzing with tension, and whispers spreading faster than wildfire. 4 individuals, once moving freely in society, were suddenly thrust under the blinding glare of suspicion. And the way each arrest unfolded was nothing short of jaw-dropping. Let's go deeper into those unforgettable scenes. The first suspect's arrest was straight out of a thriller. Imagine a quiet evening at a luxury Shanghai apartment complex. Couples strolling, families walking their dogs, everything appearing calm. Then, BAM, a squad of officers stormed the building, their boots pounding against the marble floor. A door on the 12th floor was rammed open with a thunderous crack. Neighbors peeked out from behind barely opened doors, holding their breath. What they saw was a man dragged out, his hoodie pulled low over his face, fighting to shield himself from the cameras already flashing outside. Witnesses say his hands trembled so violently that even the cuffs clinked like warning bells. Some swear they heard him whisper over and over, "It wasn't supposed to be like this. It wasn't supposed to be like this." Those chilling words have since become the #1 trending topic online. The second suspect's arrest carried an eerie calm. Authorities tracked her to a dimly lit tea house in the suburbs. The place was nearly empty, the faint smell of jasmine filling the air. She sat alone, a porcelain teacup steaming in front of her, staring into the liquid as if she could read the future. When plainclothes detectives approached, she didn't flinch, didn't resist. Instead, she gave a haunting little smile and slid a wax-sealed letter across the table, almost as though she had been waiting for this very moment. The scene was surreal. Witnesses said it felt like she was playing out a role in a drama, not living through an arrest. And the mystery only deepened when whispers spread about the contents of that letter. Some believe it holds names that could bring down some of the most powerful figures in the entertainment world. The third suspect's capture was pure chaos. Picture the winding backstreets of Beijing, alive with the clatter of food stalls, sizzling woks, and vendors shouting at the top of their lungs. Suddenly, that ordinary scene turned into a frenzy. A young man bolted through the crowd, knocking over baskets of fruit and dodging oncoming scooters. Officers chased him, radios crackling, their voices sharp with urgency. People screamed, scattering to the sides, some pulling out their phones to capture the scene. The suspect's face was pale, his eyes wide with terror, until finally, wham, he was slammed to the ground by an officer's tackle. What froze everyone in their tracks were his words as he struggled. "You don't understand. It was never supposed to happen like this." That single shout spread across social media like wildfire, replayed endlessly, dissected in thousands of comment threads. What did he mean? Was Yu Menglong's tragic death an accident? Or was something else planned that night? The fourth arrest was cloaked in secrecy and power. A convoy of unmarked black cars rolled up to a gated villa in the dead of night. Neighbors described the air as unnervingly still, as if even the crickets stopped singing. Shadows flickered behind curtained windows before the entire property went dark. Then, minutes later, a tall figure was escorted out, head bowed, flanked by stern-faced officers. Unlike the others, this suspect wasn't dragged or tackled. He walked slowly, deliberately, as if every step was heavy with consequence. Rumors exploded instantly because this person wasn't some random acquaintance. This was someone with ties reaching deep into both the entertainment and business worlds. If true, this single arrest could blow the case wide open, exposing layers of influence, money, and betrayal that the public never imagined. Now imagine all of this happening within hours of each other. 4 arrests, 4 dramatically different scenes, yet each one connected by the same invisible thread, Yu Menglong's name. Authorities revealed that all 4 suspects had been under surveillance for weeks. Their phones tapped, their movements tracked, their meetings monitored. Evidence was gathered in silence until the net was ready to close. The coordinated raids weren't just about arrests. They were about sending a message. The game was over, but the discoveries made at their homes have only deepened the mystery. Hidden envelopes filled with coded notes. Phones smashed and buried. Maps marked with specific dates and times. And in every piece of evidence, Yu Menglong's name surfaced again and again. It's as though his life had been under a magnifying glass long before the tragedy struck. Some fans believe this proves a premeditated plan, while others argue it points to an elaborate cover-up that spiraled out of control. The reactions online have been explosive. Fans crying as they watch the arrest videos. Netizens replaying the suspect's words frame by frame, analyzing every detail. Some say the smile of the woman in the tea house means she knows far more than she's letting on. Others believe the young man's desperate scream proves he was just a pawn in a game he couldn't control. And then there are those who think the fourth suspect, the one with powerful connections, is the true mastermind pulling strings in the shadows. One thing is certain, these arrests are not the end of the story. They are just the beginning of a darker, more twisted chapter. Every revelation pulls us deeper into the labyrinth. Every whisper, every leaked detail, every dramatic scene adds fuel to the fire of speculation. And with 4 suspects now behind bars, the world is holding its breath, waiting to see what secrets will spill out in the interrogation rooms. But here's the real question. Will these suspects crack under pressure? Or are they just the tip of the iceberg, protecting someone even bigger? Could there be more arrests coming? And if so, how high up does this conspiracy really go? This case has stopped being just about the loss of Yu Menglong. It has become a mirror reflecting the dark underbelly of fame, power, and betrayal. So now I turn to you. What do you think about the arrests? Do you believe the woman's mysterious letter holds the key to the truth? Was the young man's desperate cry a sign of innocence or guilt? And do you think the fourth suspect, the one with deep ties to the industry, could really be the mastermind behind it all? Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the next shocking update. And most importantly, drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'll be reading them closely, because your theories might just be the missing pieces of this puzzle.